Hey, Flo here. It's been a while since I've been out in nature to do a Bible reading or just out in nature in general. Took a chance today. Didn't know if I'd be able to get anywhere due to the snow conditions, but I was able to get out here, which is pretty cool. It's a really nice spot. I was actually toying around with the idea of going camping, and I'm really tempted to consider it even now. Like not tonight, because I didn't come prepared. I was thinking of coming prepared even to do it tonight, but I wanted to get out before I lost the opportunity to be out before dark. So I didn't grab all my gear that I would need. Plus, I don't go camping very often, so I'd have to really plan it out and think, what do I need exactly? This is a really cool chair of sorts, I guess. I am tempted to do it tomorrow. I don't know if I probably won't, but it is tempting just because the conditions are really nice. It's really cold at night, but during the day it's been getting fairly warm and it's sunny, and I don't think it's gonna snow anymore for a while, at least for a few days. I don't think winter's over necessarily, but at the moment it feels like spring to be honest. I forgot to bring my strap for this microphone, so I'm gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way here. There's also no signal here, unfortunately. I was thinking what would be pretty fun is to find a place where I could camp and live stream, which I know there's some spots, but they're pretty sparse. A little bit hard to find. Plus, even though I was able to get here and it doesn't look that bad, like there's not much snow here, it's because it's in the sun. There would normally be a lot more. Like where I was driving, it was very drivable, but if I go off the road in the wrong place, trying to get to a specific camp spot, for example, I might have a little bit more difficulty, so I have to be a little bit cautious in that regard. And with this is like one of those, I don't know what you call them, long john, just thermal underwear, I guess, but they're like, they get the top and the bottom. This top is super hot. I might actually have to take it off because it's so warm. It's like absorbing like 99% of the sun's energy, I think. Don't need a Dyson sphere. I just need one of these shirts. Okay, so no signal, so I can't do the slides on screen, so I'll have to add these later. But that's all right. I'm also using a different camera app. I don't know what it's going to look like. Hopefully it's okay. So we're going to read Hosea 1 through 5 and Colossians 2. Hosea chapter 1. This is the word of the Lord that came to Hosea son of Berean in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, and of Jeroboam son of Jehoash, king of Israel. When the Lord first spoke through Hosea, he told him, "Go, take a prostitute as your wife, and have children of adultery, because this land is flagrantly prostituting itself by departing from the Lord." So Hosea went and married Gomer, daughter of Diblaim, And she conceived and bore him a son. Then the Lord said to Hosea, Name him Jezreel, for soon I will bring the bloodshed of Jezreel upon the house of Jehu, and I will put an end to the kingdom of Israel. And on that day I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. Gomer again conceived and gave birth to a daughter, and the Lord said to Hosea, Name her Ruhamah. Name her Ruhamah, for I will no longer have compassion on the house of Israel, that I should ever forgive them. Yet I will have compassion on the house of Judah, and I will save them, not by bow or sword or war, not by horses and cavalry, but by the Lord their God. After she had weaned Ruhamah, Gomer conceived and gave birth to a son. And the Lord said, Name him Lo-Ammi, for you are not my people, and I am not your God. Yet the number of Israelites will be like the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or counted. And it will happen that in the very place where it was said to them, You are not my people, they will be called sons of the living God. Then the people of Judah and of Israel will be gathered together, and they will appoint for themselves one leader, and will go up out of the land. For great will be the day of Jezreel. I still haven't figured out a way to do an offline Bible app. I really would like to get that figured out. I haven't been vibe coding at all lately. I'm not necessarily like done with it forever, but I'm just kind of bored with it. And I got the video audio editing app kind of to a stable point. It has little things that as I'm using it, I'm thinking like I could fix this and that, but I just haven't been motivated to do that. I have been working more on business stuff lately, which is what I need to be working on. And there's a whole story with that. I made postcards and I tried to test send one, and it got returned. There's literally nothing wrong with how I designed the postcard. It's according to the specifications, but I have some like reflective stuff, and I think that tripped the optical reader or whatever it's called to make it think that it was the wrong side. So it canceled the wrong side, not the stamp side. So I have to I sent out a couple more today as a test, hoping that maybe that was a fluke. But if that is a continued problem, I'll have to redesign them, which is really annoying because I actually did quite a bit of work on printing a bunch of them, which I should have waited. But when I kind of waited till I went into the post office and asked them about the postcard, and the lady there barely even glanced at it and said, "Oh yeah, it's fine." Or she said, "Yes, it's fine, whatever." So I thought it was okay, so I started printing more of them, but I should have waited because it got returned, which is super annoying. Anyway, that's what I've been working on, and so I need to figure that out. Hopefully the second test works, but even if the second test works, I might redesign them just because it could be like a 50-50 chance of failure. I don't want to send out like 100 postcards and get a bunch of returns. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I've been spending a lot of time on that, which is the very thing I need to spend time on, but it feels pointless now because it feels like a failure. But hopefully it's just a temporary setback. I don't like using this Bible app on my phone at all. That's the reason I would like to make some kind of offline Bible app. It would have to have the whole Bible in local storage or something, because I don't know how to make a native app, and it needs to be web-based somehow. But I don't really feel like starting another project like that. Those things tend to get me distracted and be never ending. So I'll just keep reading with what I got. I can barely even read it because of the contrast on the screen in this font. I just made the font bigger though, so hopefully that's better. Hosea chapter 2. Say of your brothers, my people, and of your sisters, my loved one. Rebuke your mother, rebuke her, for she is not my wife, and I am not her husband. Let her remove the adultery from her face, and the unfaithfulness from between her breasts. Otherwise I will strip her naked, and expose her like the day of her birth. I will make her like a desert, and turn her into a parched land, and I will let her die of thirst. I will have no compassion on her children, because they are the children of adultery. For their mother has played the harlot and has conceived them in disgrace. For she thought, I will go after my lovers, who give me bread and water, wool and linen, oil and drink. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up her path with thorns. I will enclose her with a wall, so she cannot find her way. She will pursue her lovers, but not catch them. She will seek them, but not find them. Then she will say, I will return to my first husband, for then I was better off than now. For she does not acknowledge that it was I who gave her grain, new wine, and oil, who lavished on her silver and gold, which they crafted for Baal. Therefore I will take back my grain in its time, and my new wine in its season. I will take away my wool and linen, which were given to cover her nakedness, and then I will expose her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and no one will deliver her out of my hands. I will put an end to all her exaltation, her feasts, new moons, and Sabbaths, all her appointed feasts. I will destroy her vines and fig trees, which she thinks are the wages paid by her lovers. So I will make them into a thicket, and the beasts of the field will devour them. I will punish her for the days of the Baals when she burned incense to them, when she decked herself with rings and jewelry and went after her lovers. But me she forgot, declares the Lord. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and lead her to the wilderness, and speak to her tenderly. There I will give back her vineyards, and make the valley of Achor into a gateway of hope. There she will respond as she did in the days of her youth, as in the day she came up out of Egypt. In that day, declares the Lord, you will call me my husband, and no longer call me my master. For I will remove from her lips the names of the Baals. No longer will their names be invoked. On that day I will make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field and the birds of the air, and the creatures that crawl on the ground. And I will abolish bow and sword and weapons of war in the land, and will make them lie down in safety. So I will betroth you to me forever. I will betroth you in righteousness and justice, in loving devotion and compassion. And I will betroth you in faithfulness, and you will know the Lord. On that day I will respond, declares the Lord. I will respond to the heavens, and they will respond to the earth. And the earth will respond to the grain, to the new wine and oil, and they will respond to Jezreel. And I will sow her as my own in the land, and I will have compassion on no compassion. I will say to those called not my people, you are my people, and they will say, you are my God. It's crazy how hot it is. It literally feels like 80 degrees because of the sun's heat. I know it's not that hot. It's probably about 50 degrees, I think, which is surprisingly warm for this time of year. There's kind of a mini heat wave, a winter heat wave, which is very strange. we haven't gotten nearly enough snow this year. I think we're going to have some issues in the summer, unfortunately, unless it really piles up late in the winter, which would be a blessing. But it's kind of enjoyable because it's been somewhat mild. Even though I haven't really gotten out much, I could have. But I haven't had to deal with any major work stuff. Like chores. I don't have to plow the driveway, which is a huge job, like ridiculously difficult. I haven't had to plow the snow at all. It's just been so minimal. It's a very strange year. It's so quiet out here. I'm guessing there's some people around in general, and not necessarily right here, but just I've seen cars as I was driving out here. There's at least some people around. I don't know where they are exactly, but they might be able to see me even. They could be out wandering around like I would like to be doing. I'm really tempted to come back here tomorrow just to have more time. Technically, I could go back home tonight, grab everything I need, and do a really late night camping. And then I'd have all day tomorrow to explore, just be out here. But I don't know. I kind of doubt I'm going to do that. But that would be a lot of driving, and I need to figure out what I would bring. I don't even have food either. That was the main thing I was thinking of, is what kind of food would I bring? I'd probably bring mostly stuff that's kind of already ready. I don't have to cook too much. Anyway, we'll see. I don't think I'm going to do it, but it's tempting. Hosea chapter 3. Then the Lord said to me, Go show love to your wife again, though she is loved by another and is an adulteress. Love her as the Lord loves the Israelites, though they turn to other gods and offer raisin cakes to idols. So I bought her for 15 shekels of silver, and a homer and a lethek of barley. Then I said to her, You must live with me for many days. You must not be promiscuous or belong to another, and I will do the same for you. For the Israelites must live many days without king or prince, without sacrifice or sacred pillar, and without ephod or idol. Afterward the people of Israel will return and seek the Lord their God and David their king. They will come trembling to the Lord and to his goodness in the last days. Short one. I'm also sort of wondering if this false spring weird warm spell might kind of trick some of the animals and plants and stuff. I feel like there's maybe a few more insects than there should be just because it's so warm, and I don't know if it'll actually be warm enough to cause any plants to think it's spring and start sprouting, but probably not. It still gets incredibly cold during the night, so most everything will probably still think it's winter or whatever, because it is. Hosea chapter 4. Hear the word of the Lord, O children of Israel, for the Lord has a case against the people of the land. There is no truth, no loving devotion, and no knowledge of God in the land. Cursing and lying, murder and stealing, and adultery are rampant. One act of bloodshed follows another. Therefore the land mourns, and all who dwell in it will waste away. And all who dwell in it will waste away with the beasts of the field and the birds of the air. Even the fish of the sea disappear. But let no man contend, let no man offer reproof. For your people are like those who contend with a priest. You will stumble by day, and the prophet will stumble with you by night. So I will destroy your mother. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I will also reject you as my priests. Since you have forgotten the law of your God, I will also forget your children. The more they multiplied, the more they sinned against me. They exchanged their glory for a thing of disgrace. They feed on the sins of my people and set their hearts on iniquity. And it shall be like people. It's a weird sentence. And it shall be like people, like priests. I will punish both of them for their ways and repay them for their deeds. They will eat but not be satisfied. They will be promiscuous but not multiply, for they have stopped obeying the Lord. Promiscuity, wine, and new wine take away understanding. My people consult their wooden idols, and their divining rods inform them. For a spirit of prostitution leads them astray, and they have played the harlot against their God. They sacrifice on the mountaintops and burnt offerings on the hills, under oak, poplar, and terebinth, because their shade is pleasant. And so your daughters turn to prostitution, and your daughters-in-law to adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they prostitute themselves, nor your daughters-in-law when they commit adultery. For the men themselves go off with prostitutes and offer sacrifices with shrine prostitutes. So a people without understanding will come to ruin. Though you prostitute yourself, O Israel, may Judah avoid such guilt. Do not journey to Gilgal, do not go up to Beth-aven, and do not swear on oath, as surely as the Lord lives. For Israel is as obstinate as a stubborn heifer. Can the Lord now shepherd them like lambs in an open meadow? Ephraim is joined to idols, leave him alone. When their liquor is gone, they turn to prostitution. Their rulers dearly love disgrace. The whirlwind has wrapped them in its wings, and their sacrifices will bring them shame. This is really hard to read with this app. I really don't like it. It's kind of in the poetry prose form where it has a bunch of needless carriage returns and indents, and it's like mid-sentence and mid-phrase, so it's confusing. Hosea chapter 5. Hear this, O priests, take heed, O house of Israel. Give ear, O royal house. For this judgment is against you, because you have been a snare at Mizpah, a net spread out on Tabor. The rebels are deep in slaughter, but I will chastise them all. I know all about Ephraim, and Israel is not hidden from me. For now, O Ephraim, you have turned to prostitution. Israel is defiled. Their deeds do not permit them to return to their God, for a spirit of prostitution is within them, and they do not know the Lord. Israel's arrogance testifies against them. Israel and Ephraim stumble in their iniquity. Even Judah stumbles with them. They go with their flocks and herds to seek the Lord, but they do not find him. He has withdrawn himself from them. They have been unfaithful to the Lord, for they have borne illegitimate children. Now the new moon will devour them along with their land. Blow the ram's horn in Gibeah, the trumpet in Ramah. Raise the battle cry in Beth-aven. Lead on, Lead on, O Benjamin. Ephraim will be laid waste on the day of rebuke. Among the tribes of Israel I proclaim what is certain. The princes of Judah are like those who move boundary stones. I will pour out my fury upon them like water. Ephraim is oppressed, crushed in judgment, for he is determined to follow worthless idols. So I am like a moth to Ephraim, and like decay to the house of Judah. When Ephraim saw his sickness, and Judah his wound, then Ephraim turned to Assyria and sent to the great king. But he cannot cure you or heal your wound. For I am like a lion to Ephraim, and like a young lion to the house of Judah. I, even I, will tear them to pieces and then go away. I will carry them off where no one can rescue them. Then I will return to my place until they admit their guilt and seek my face. In their affliction they will earnestly seek me. Oh, I just remembered. I have to do it the moment I think of it, or I'll forget. I need to try to mark these spots that I read today. Okay, what's the other chapter? Colossians 2. Colossians chapter 2. For I want you to know how much I am struggling for you and for those at Laodicea, and for all who have not met me face to face, that they may be encouraged in heart, knit together in love, and filled with the full riches of complete understanding, so that they may know the mystery of God, namely Christ, in whom are hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. I say this so that no one will deceive you by smooth rhetoric. For although I am absent from you in body, I am present with you in spirit, and I delight to see your orderly condition and firm faith in Christ. Therefore, just as you have received Christ Jesus as Lord, continue to walk in him, rooted and built up in him, established in the faith as you were taught, and overflowing with thankfulness. See to it that no one takes you captive through philosophy and empty deception, which are based on human tradition and the spiritual forces of the world rather than on Christ. For in Christ all the fullness of the deity dwells in bodily form, and you have been made complete in Christ, who is the head over every ruler and authority. In him you were also circumcised, in the putting off of your sinful nature, with the circumcision performed by Christ, and not by human hands. And having been buried with him in baptism, you were raised with him through your faith in the power of God, who raised him from the dead. When you were dead in your trespasses and in the uncircumcision of your sinful nature, God made you alive with Christ. He forgave us all our trespasses, having canceled the debt ascribed to us in the decrees that stood against us. He took it away, nailing it to the cross. And having disarmed the powers and authorities, he made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. Therefore, let no one judge you by what you eat or drink, or with regard to a feast, a new moon, or a Sabbath. These are a shadow of the things to come, but the body that casts it belongs to Christ. Do not let anyone who delights in false humility and the worship of angels disqualify you with speculation about what he has seen. Such a person is puffed up without basis by his unspiritual mind. He has lost connection to the head, from whom the whole body, supported and knit together by its joints and ligaments, grows as God causes it to grow. If you have died with Christ to the spiritual forces of the world, why, as though you still belong to the world, do you submit to its regulations? Do not handle, do not taste, do not touch. These will all perish with use, because they are based on human commands and teachings. Such restrictions indeed have an appearance of wisdom, with their self-prescribed worship, their false humility, and their harsh treatment of the body. But they are of no value against the indulgence of the flesh. Wish I would have gotten out earlier. I have about 2 hours before it gets dark. So I'll probably just stay here and do some readings. Seeing what I see, I had no idea what I was going to experience out here, what I would find. If there would be any, I didn't know if I'd have to turn around on the road because it wasn't plowed. Technically the road is closed for the winter, but if you can get there, you can still go. They just don't maintain it. And it wasn't that bad. If I would have known that, I probably would have, or if I would have known what I was going to see when I got here, I probably would have taken extra time to pack up some stuff. But I couldn't have known, really. Well, that's it for this reading, though. I'll probably end this video and start another one so that they're not too long, each of them. But I should have time to do a couple more readings at least. Now, this is a really nice stump. I could sit like 5 people on this thing. It's so big. Not that that would make any sense to do, but several spots to sit. All right, I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm just going to stop this one and start another one after I find a second angle. So I'll be back in a minute. Thanks for joining me. Should be more to come. I'll have to upload these and edit them later, so it'll be a while before these get online.